All right, next up on Hit Parade for this drumsturbation catalog of explanations, we're going to talk a little bit about Rotted Futures. Now, this is a song that was written by our lovely bassist Steve Blanco, and this is one where he completely wrote the song. Like, we all learned what he wrote, what he composed. We learned it to his demos as best as we could. And this song in particular, I know when we play it live, I get to watch the audience a lot. And holy shit, do people seem to get really confused when we play certain parts of this. So I'm going to break this down into the elements so you can kind of get a sense of what's happening. Specifically in our verse groove, kind of like the main A section of the song that you hear after the long build. Um, you have this motif in the guitar that's going which for those of you counting at home, that's a figure in 7/8, right? So it's a 7-note phrase that he repeats over and over that. And we are all basically playing in 7, except for this part, Steve wrote 2 separate drum parts. So he asked me to pick one of them, but to my ears, it sounded like both fit together. So I essentially just learned both drum parts, which kind of makes things a little bit strange, right? Because you kind of have the one happening, but you also have the China accent happening as well, like it's a few extra accents and things like that happening here and there. But as the part develops, you'll hear that there's this really kind of portally bass drum part that's included in halfway through that part. And what's happening there is the bass drum is actually playing a grouping of 9 notes against the 7. So basically like 3/4 in triplets against a 7/8 groove, which is what the part where Steve had the 2 drummers going. So I did my best to basically combine the with the. So the normal groove goes as follows. Right? That's what the kick is doing. Now, the next part of it. You get a sense of like this sort of chaotic, sort of like it's not quite together, but somehow it keeps together because it's all like gridded, even though it sounds random. And to add to the fucking mystery of it all, there's points in the subsequent phrasing of this whole section where we go into 5. So Zach is still playing in 7. He's still doing the ba do ba do do ba do do ba do do ba do do ba, but now we're doing. So to hear what that kind of sounds like going in and out of it, I'll do a little demonstration here. Let's move that out of the fucking way. And so on and so forth for the rest of the second half of the song. But you hear how like what ultimately stays the same and the important part to lock all this shit in is the big one. Ba-do-do, ba-do-do-do, ba-do-do, ba-do-do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No matter what, this has to stay the same. This is the thing that locks in all the stuff, this big pulse. That way we could fit a 7, we could fit a 5, we could fit a 9. And like really like keeping in mind that like the stuff that you're hearing, 90% of what you're hearing was written. Steve composed that shit and I learned it. It wasn't something where it's like, oh, let me try this, let me try this. Like these are his ideas. So kind of demystifying a little bit Rotted Futures for y'all.